Look at me. What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself.
All right, family, welcome back. This is the unscripted version with your boy Cutting Ass Fit there. Let me go ahead right into it. We're talking about Deon right now. We're talking about comedy hype news. We're talking about everything that's going on, man. So I'm looking at my notes real quick. If y'all haven't heard about comedy hype news, let me tell you something about that. Symphony Thomas is a monster. When the founder hired her, he picked out a diamond because she's on it. I think it was a video right there. I'm gonna put the link in the description below. Y'all check out this video. Let me know what you're talking about. I might even add that plug in there and just interject on certain things that was said in that video. But first, it was the title of it was called Deon Sanders silences HBCU president. And Symphony was talking with the founder John Abba of Comedy Hype, and it was a great discussion, man. I mean, they're talking about once Deon, I think he went on. No, I watched the other video. I watched pretty much all the videos. So Symphony is amazing. Reporter or host, you name it, she does it all, especially social media and everything else. So if you don't know anything about her, go ahead and check out, give her a follow on social media. She's gonna be a one to watch coming up in the future. So if she hasn't blown up yet, definitely she's gonna make waves out there because she's amazing at what she does. But this video right here, man, I don't know, maybe because John Abba, like I said, he's a founder. He's all about black businesses, and he's the founder of Comedy Heights. So he has his own perception when it comes to business, hiring black people, building your business, and how we should progress as a nation or a country, or as a culture, or as a black Americans, how we should progress. As myself, I'm an athlete, I'm a business owner, and I see what some of the things he's coming from, but I'm an athlete first, so I don't understand. And maybe it's that what he's missing. He's saying with in the video, he goes into talking about if he was Deon, and he talking just about himself, he wish Deon would have stayed at Jackson State. Of course, he doesn't know Deon's history at Jackson State and what Deon almost went through. Because if he did, if he had an inkling of the little bit of stuff that Deon went through at Jackson State, he wouldn't have made those statements. Because Deon done gave everything, paying money out of his own pocket to build a field, to help the athletes, to you name it, hotel rooms. And when the city was out of water, the stuff they did for the community, he went above and beyond, but wasn't getting matched. So I get what he's talking about. You know, you want to build in-house, but if the house ain't building for you, how long are you supposed to stay? And I know kind of people with that same perception. They'll stay in a dead-end job and just sit there and without any progress or with nothing else, and bring their whole life and stuff like that crumbling down, just because somebody, say if it's a family member, somebody they know. I don't think like that. If it's not working for you, you need to get out. I don't care if it's black, white, you name it. Because at the end of the day, what most people are forgetting about it is that we still need each other. If you're doing God's work, man, Deon says it all the time. If you never listen to him, he's great. He's electric. He's amazing. But he's still speaking on God. He's talking about his talent, the gifts that he's been given. And the message that he says is clear. He tells everybody what he's trying to do, and he's doing what he says. So I don't see how people can criticize him, how you can judge him for leaving Jackson State. Y'all haven't seen his 60-minute interview? I mean, you haven't seen him in the hospital and everything else. You haven't seen any of the things that came to light after he left Jackson State, as far as them taking money from him, everything else that was going on. It was a whole... We didn't know the history of Jackson State, what it was, 7 presidents in the last 13 years. So just think, if your house is not clear, how long is you supposed to stay in that house? So when I say Symphony, she was on it. I mean, she is amazing at what she did, because she disagreed with John Abba, the founder. He said his perception. He came up with an analogy which was horrible. And Symphony immediately says she doesn't agree with it and doesn't even want to use that analogy. It's a horrible analogy, just like myself. So he came up with an analogy saying something about a field and a table. Like, you need people in the field and you need people at the table to do different things like war, stuff of that nature. So I get what he was coming about from that. But when he was talking about the house Negro versus the field Negro, that lost me. That went above here. But I got to think he's coming from a place that he's never an athlete. He was never an athlete. So he doesn't know the mentality, the things that go through us as far as, you want the best. And Deon, like I said, he's doing everything that he says. So I know he's going to have haters, he's going to have critics and things of that. So I don't think he's doing anything wrong, because he's very vocal. And you're hiring people, you're expanding business as a family, you're helping your whole team out, boys, the parents, the city, the community, college football, you name it, more eyeballs on college football than probably ever before. I know I've been stopped watching college football. I'm in Georgia, I'm in Atlanta, so of course I watched at Jackson State when Deon was there. I met Deon plenty of times before when I played ball, but nobody really cared about a HBCU like that when Deon came. Y'all haven't seen what the last HBCU did to my guy. What's his name? Ed Reed. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's a different thing. We're talking about Deon like that, but nobody's talking about the craziness that happened to Ed Reed when he was trying to do the same thing for HBCU and still wanting to go back and help that one after promising so much to his team and to the boys and the players he got down there, the stuff he was doing off the clock, who really wasn't getting paid, doing it for free, his own time. But that's just something that we do. I'm a player. Ed Reed is like myself, vocal. He's gonna let it be known. We're not as savvy. We don't have the wording like Deon. Deon is very charismatic.
I think that's the conversation. What is Black progress? Do you somewhat do the Robin Hood move, get to positions, and then I know a lot of people get like manager positions, be like, well, when I get on, I'll bring Black folks in. Is that the path, or is it the path to kind of like keep your best in house, build in house? And I think that's like why we are seeing different opposing views, because I don't think either men are wrong. I think that they actually are both necessary. I think that you need somebody on the field, and then you also need somebody at the table. It's just like war. In medieval times, those that paid attention, you got your knights, and you also had your field soldiers. You had different positions. And I think in this turn, not to label Deon this, but I will say you had the House Negro, but in this effect, it looks like Deon may be doing a House Negro move from, and we can get into it, from a level of strategy. Like, okay, I'm going to get in the house, but I'm going to get in the house, but I'm also put some product. I'm going to give some stuff through the window. I'm going to crack the window and beat it that way. I think you need that. That's a Trojan horse approach. Yeah. That's kind of like, blending in, but really you're here to kind of disrupt. And you also need someone on the field, so I take it that we need both. So not to call Deon House Negro, but I'm just saying from a level of like strategy, like you sometimes have to do that. That's why some of us code switch. I'm gonna blend in with y'all, but I'm not really with y'all. Hopefully that's what he's doing.
I guess I understand to an extent where you're coming from, but I wouldn't necessarily use the house Negro, because I don't think he's blending in. I think Deon is still Deon. Deon has been being very vocal about what his plans are. He was very vocal about, hey, I'm going, there's a locker room full of 75% Black men. And anytime we're talking about sports, especially football, those players are going to be majority Black, no matter what space you're in, whether it's Colorado or Jackson State, it doesn't matter. Most of those are going to be Black student or Black athletes. So for me, I don't think he's blending in. I think he's very outspoken about what his plan is. But I do agree that and the analogy I like to use, like, as a Black community, we're one body, but the arms are going to operate different than the legs are. So I can understand, okay, hey, Reverend, this is your mission. You're the arm, and Deon is the legs. Y'all are going to operate differently, but I don't think you have to criticize the arms, because it's still necessary.
Well, so in conclusion, with my House Negro and Field Negro, the real fear is if the two came together. That's Master's worst fear. Exactly.
He knows he knows social media. He knows what to say and what not to say. He knows how to use his words, but he's been blessed with those type of gifts I think what's my guy? Oh man, this guy John Whitlock was hating on him. He says he's not hating, but this guy, I'm not gonna judge nobody, but you can clearly see he has an opinion of Deon, which is not great because I don't never seen another grown man talk this bad about another grown man who you say you do like. It just doesn't happen. So, like I said, words speak for themselves, actions speak for themselves. So I never knew who this guy was. I might have heard him here or there, but I can care less what his perception is about Deon, because Deon, and that's the problem like I have, man. I don't know plenty of religious people. I'm religious myself, but I don't claim myself as being a Christian or whatever else. I am a Bible believer. I'm a Jesus believer. I'm a God believer. You name it. I do believe in that Bible. Even though we ain't going to get into that we know certain things have been changed or whatever the case may be for whatever reason, but we're mindful that it is somebody watching out for you. We'll put it like that. So I ain't going to go down that rabbit hole, but if you are a believer, and the only thing I can say is, like, I done been all over the world, Americans, people like this Whitlock guy who call themselves Christians or whatever the case, but he's criticizing, he's judging, he's demonizing another grown man who's mentioning God in everything he says, who's helping other black boys, young men, white men, you name it, who's helping the whole community, football, you name it, men, women. He's helping everybody in his circle and beyond his circle keep growing. And you're saying you're a Christian and you're hating on him or calling him girly or whatever the case may be for how he wears, what he wears, if he wears jewelry, or he hasn't changed. Deon ain't really changed who he was since he played ball. He still has the mentality as a winner, as that guy. He's still electric. He still knows social media. He was always a great advertising guy. So he knows that. But if you ever heard him away from the cameras, just talking on his phone, speaking, praying, you name it, this guy gives all his glory to God, because he already said he couldn't been here without him. You just don't know this story. So I don't think the guy did enough, this Whitlock guy did enough research on Deon, especially when he was at Jackson State, or the things he done went through the last 5 years in his life to criticize him like that. I just don't think he just doesn't care about him. And then the other HBCU, man, there's different other people who have claimed to be religious, judging and criticizing Deon just for leaving Jackson State, even though they're pretty much ripping him off. Deon get pretty much worked for free for all these years. So how much are you supposed to give somebody if they're not doing anything for you or your team or your kids or anything else, and they're just pretty much jabbing you and jabbing you? How long are you supposed to stay in that situation? Because he always said that he always been verbal and trying to get other help, bring other people out there. He done brought money to Jackson State, but they still we ain't taking care of them. If you wanted them to stay at Jackson State, we could have raised money for the school, the community, what you do when they was out of water and things like that. So it's a whole different ball game. And it's just sad, man, to see, especially I think he was getting a lot of hate from Black American, or Black America, as they say. It's a couple guys I follow on YouTube who did videos about the hate that Deon was receiving after he left Jackson State. But I'm 100% behind him. I put it like that. Other people, especially athletes, we know the mentality that Deon has. I myself personally, I can care less what anybody says about me, because I have that mentality. I'm not gonna judge you for your personal, because that's your life. Anybody, I'm not gonna judge you for what you wear, how you look, who you date. That's your life. It doesn't matter. I'm all about black on black business. I'm all about making great connections. I'm all about business per se, but I'm always about, people forget this about God. We are all one race, whether you think that or not. And most people, we know the hate that a lot of people, we know it's racist people out there. We know it's the demonic people out there. We know it's a whole lot of people out there who just don't like good people. And Deon is showing that he's a God-fearing man. He's helping these kids. He's helping these families. Whether you think so or not, don't criticize him. Just look at the impact. Right, get a sheet of paper, write it down. Look at all the positives that Deon is doing for college football, number one. For the teammates that he have down there, number two. His kids, his family, his legacy. Look at all those things. Now you think about Colorado. The whole town sold out games. Won 2 games, ain't more games than them won in the whole season. And yes, it's still new. They're probably gonna lose a game or two, here and there, but that's irrelevant. We're talking about right now what he's doing. It's electric. He have them. They're getting televised, which hasn't happened in a while. You got to think about that much. Deon, if you haven't, I think Amazon, he had something on Amazon. I think he was at Jackson State. I just started to watch. I think I'm on episode 1. The limelight that he's given to the players out there, letting people get into him. If you was an athlete, what goes on behind the scenes, especially at the HBCU, lower schools and colleges and in dorms, on the field, family issues. We know what goes on when the cameras are off and how hard it is to juggle anything, especially if it's small campus. My only question, I always had an issue with HBCUs because most of them, I think I'm from South Carolina, so we had Benedict College and Allen University, but the tuition was extra high, and you can go to USC for way cheaper. So my question was, and I'm not king, I didn't come from money, so I'm like, why would you waste all this money just to say, hey, yeah, I went to a black I went to a black school, even though it might not even be owned by a black person. So it's education is education to me. I don't care where you go. You homeschool, you do whatever the case may be. But that's what my mentality goes beyond, because I know some brilliant people who taught themselves, who just learn things more. You learn more when you're out of school than you do when you're in school. So that's just a different a rabbit hole that I don't even want to go down. So some of the most talented people don't have degrees. They don't have, just look at the most successful people out there who run businesses. You learn from life experiences a lot of things that you got going on. So I'm pretty sure people who are hating on Deon, I don't know if they're just not positive people out there and they're not God-fearing people. But for those of us who do believe in a higher power, who do actually listen to what this guy say, Deon right now is doing amazing work. But like I say, it's not really him. It's somebody else behind there who's pushing this agenda out there, who's showing the world that if you do believe me, it will come true. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this spiel out there, but man, y'all check out the link in this video about the comedy hype. Let me know what you think about the statement that John Abba said. And I get where he's coming from, but that analogy is horrible. If you agree like me that analogy about the house Negro and field Negro was horrible, let them know. Don't ever use that analogy again. Tiffany, we appreciate you for staying on top of them. Keep doing an amazing work out there, man. And we're going to go ahead and end it off there. Like I say, it's so much hate going on Coach Prime right now. But keep your head up. Colorado football, you're doing amazing. Hopefully you'll be 3-0. You will be 3-0. We're going to go ahead and speak that positive energy in the air. And we're going to go up there. It's your boy, Cut Next with you, and we are back with Unscripted. Let's go.
You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. You know what? God established me. So you ain't nothing you could do to me. I've been dealing with this foolishness since Pee Wee football, man. I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy. So what will change now that I'm coaching? Not a darn thing. I'm not even playing the game, and you got an opinion of me. I'm not even on the field. But I'm pretty sure I get every darn coach I'm playing against, head coaches, and anything you want to do. But I love it, but I don't care. And I wish the world thought like that. Youngsters, if you're out there right now, do not give a darn what opinions people have of you, long as that opinion is not consistent of that of yourself. You be you. I'm not planning to make you feel good about me. I already feel good about me. I'm good. Message for the youngsters out there and the old school, not old fools.